Sir, step away from the vehicle. Whose car is this?
It's mine. I'm just loading some equipment.
Sure. You got proof of ownership?
I do, but I'm parked legally. Is there a problem?
The problem is you're in a neighborhood where we've had break-ins. Let me see your
I
ID.
live 2 blocks from here.
I didn't ask where you live. Hands where I can see them. Now.
Officer Daniels had no idea what he just walked into. In the next 8 minutes, his career would be put under review. The police chief would issue a public apology. Body cam footage would go viral with 12 million views. The man he was treating like a suspect had just written a $2 million check to the department's youth program. That was 3 weeks ago. Marcus Chen wasn't just a Tesla owner. He was the 34-year-old CEO of NeuralSync Technologies. His company was valued at $340 million. It had contracts with this exact police department to upgrade their dispatch systems. He'd been featured in Forbes. He spoke at City Council about community policing. He personally funded scholarships for officers' children. And the body camera on Officer Daniels' chest was recording everything. Before we continue, let me ask you something. Have you ever been treated unfairly by someone in power? Drop your answer in the comments. But Officer Daniels had no idea who he was handcuffing. Marcus Chen was 34 years old. He was the founder and CEO of NeuralSync Technologies. He started the company in his garage 6 years ago. Now it was worth $340 million. The company had 200 employees. It had contracts with 47 police departments across the country. Marcus graduated from MIT with a computer science degree. He was in the top 5% of his class. He'd worked in tech for 12 years. He built his company from nothing into something huge. But here's what Officer Daniels didn't know. Marcus had just donated $2 million to this police department. The money went to their youth outreach program. He signed the check 3 weeks before this happened. He was also a city council advisor. He helped them understand technology and police work. He funded 15 college scholarships for officers' kids. He even taught classes at the police academy about technology and bias. Marcus lived in the Oakmont neighborhood. His house was 2 blocks away from where he got stopped. He was loading equipment for a weekend workshop. He volunteers every Saturday teaching kids how to code, kids who never had access to computers before. On this Saturday afternoon in June, Marcus was just trying to pack up laptops for children. That's all he was doing. Officer Jake Daniels had a different kind of reputation in this precinct. Jake Daniels was 29 years old. He'd been a patrol officer for 4 years. In those 4 years, he got 11 complaints. That's 11 complaints in 18 months. Every single one involved stops of Black or Latino men in rich neighborhoods. Every single complaint was dismissed by internal affairs. Let me tell you about 3 of them. In March 2024, he stopped a black doctor leaving the hospital parking lot. He held him for 45 minutes. He claimed the doctor matched a description. The complaint was dismissed. In January 2024, he stopped a Latino attorney outside the courthouse. He demanded proof the car wasn't stolen. The complaint was dismissed. In this same Oakmont neighborhood, he questioned a black homeowner entering his own house. He only backed down when a white neighbor said the man lived there. The complaint was dismissed. Other officers knew about Daniels. Behind his back, they called him Stop and Jake. 2 senior officers privately warned their supervisors about his pattern. Nothing changed. You want to know why? Daniels' uncle was the deputy chief. His father was a retired sergeant. Complaints never stuck to him. Type accountability in the comments if you think this matters. On June 15, 2024, Jake Daniels was about to make the stop that would finally force the department to pay attention. Because this time, everything was different. It was Saturday, June 15, 2024. The time was 3:47 in the afternoon. The location was Oakmont Hills. This is an upscale area. The median home price is $1.2 million. According to the census, only 2% of residents are black. It's a tree-lined street called Maple Grove Drive. Marcus's Tesla was parked in the driveway of the community center. It was a perfect summer afternoon. The temperature was 78 degrees. Kids were playing basketball 2 houses down. A neighbor was mowing his lawn across the street. It was peaceful weekend energy. Marcus was loading boxes into his Tesla trunk. Sarah Kim was inside the building. She's the community center director. Two joggers were passing by. Mrs. Patterson was gardening next door. She's 73 years old, and she's lived there for decades. At 3:47, Daniel's patrol car pulled up. He parked at an angle blocking the driveway. He immediately put his hand near his weapon as he got out. Mrs. Patterson looked up. She seemed concerned. Daniels walked toward Marcus with an aggressive stride. He didn't introduce himself. He didn't say his badge number. He opened with an accusatory question about the car. Marcus stayed calm. His body language was non-threatening. He just continued loading boxes. If stories like this matter to you, hit that subscribe button. That's when everything changed, because Officer Daniels didn't see a CEO, he didn't see a neighbor, he saw what he always saw. Daniels demanded the registration. Marcus calmly reached for his wallet. Hands, keep your hands where I can see them. Marcus froze. He explained he was getting his ID like Daniels asked. Daniels ordered him away from the vehicle. Marcus complied. He asked what law he'd broken. I'm asking the questions here. What are you doing in this neighborhood? I live here, 2 blocks that way. Daniels was skeptical. Sure you do. Officer, I'm happy to show you my license. It has my address. Turn around, hands behind your back. Wait, am I being arrested? For what? You're being detained for investigation. Investigation of what? I'm parked legally. This is community center property. Resisting will make this worse. Marcus went silent. He complied. You could see he was frustrated, but he stayed controlled. Daniels put Marcus in handcuffs. Mrs. Patterson walked over. Officer, I know this young man. He lives. Ma'am, step back. This doesn't concern you. Sarah Kim came out of the building. Marcus, what's happening? Now witnesses were speaking up. Mrs. Patterson said firmly, I'm calling your supervisor. This is ridiculous. Sarah Kim pulled out her phone. I'm recording this. State your badge number. A jogger stopped. Yo, is this really necessary? He's just standing there. Daniels was getting more aggressive. He tightened the cuffs. Marcus winced. Daniels pushed Marcus toward the patrol car hood. His voice was rising. Everyone back up now, or you're all getting cited. Marcus stayed calm. Officer, the cuffs are really tight. Can you please? Daniels cut him off. What Officer Daniels didn't know was that his body camera was recording every word. What he didn't know was that Sarah Kim's phone was live streaming to the community center's Facebook page. What he definitely didn't know was that Marcus Chen's lawyer was already on speed dial. It was 3:52 in the afternoon, 5 minutes into the stop. Marcus's phone rang in his pocket. Daniels pulled it out. He saw the caller ID. It said Chief Morrison. Who's Chief Morrison? Marcus answered quietly, your boss. We had a meeting scheduled about the new dispatch system. Daniels was dismissive. Sure you did. Sarah Kim spoke louder. Officer, that's Marcus Chen. He literally donated $2 million to your department last month. It was in the news. I don't care if he's Bill Gates, Mrs. Patterson interrupted. There was a ceremony. Your chief gave him an award. Marcus said nothing. He just stared ahead. Now let me tell you what the witnesses said. Sarah Kim is 32. She's the community center director. I was inside when I heard the noise. I've known Marcus for 3 years. He volunteers here every Saturday. He's never missed a week. This is wrong. Dorothy Patterson is 73. She's a retired teacher. I've lived here 40 years. Marcus bought the house 2 blocks over 3 years ago. He's a perfect neighbor. He helps me with my groceries. This young officer just saw a black man and assumed the worst. James Rodriguez is 41. He was jogging by. He's also an attorney. I stopped because this looked wrong. The officer never stated probable cause, never informed him of his rights, just immediate anger. And I'm watching this happen while the man is calmly doing what he's told. Here's what was being recorded. Sarah's phone had a live stream going. 847 people were watching, and the number was climbing. Daniel's body camera was recording the entire interaction. The community center security camera had a wide angle of the full scene. Mrs. Patterson was also recording on her phone. The neighbor's Ring doorbell caught the audio. At 3:54, Sarah called 911. She requested a supervisor. At 3:56, a sergeant arrived. Her name was Sergeant Linda Hayes. Response time was 8 minutes. Wait until you hear what happens next. Sergeant Hayes pulled Daniels aside. She showed him something on her phone. It was a news article with Marcus's photo. Daniels' face went pale. Take the cuffs off, now. Daniels fumbled with the keys. He wouldn't make eye contact with Marcus. By now, Officer Daniels was starting to understand how badly he messed up. The live stream had 2,400 viewers. Someone had already tagged the police department's official account. And Chief Morrison, he was calling back. Let me know in the comments what you think should happen to officers like this. At 4:02 in the afternoon, Chief David Morrison arrived. This was unusual. Chiefs don't normally show up to traffic stops. Captain Tours. From Internal Affairs came too, so did Sergeant Hayes. Chief Morrison walked straight to Marcus. He apologized immediately. Daniels was ordered to wait by his patrol car. They started an investigation right there on the scene. They reviewed the body cam footage. They checked dispatch records. Guess what? There were no calls about break-ins in the area that day. None. They interviewed all 3 witnesses separately. They reviewed Sarah's live stream. They checked Marcus's ID and his vehicle registration. Officer Daniels' story was falling apart. Let me show you how. Daniels claimed Marcus matched the description of a burglary suspect, but there were no burglary reports filed in 6 weeks. There were no active descriptions of any suspects. Daniels claimed he suspected a stolen vehicle, but the registration immediately verified it was Marcus's car. Daniels never even ran the plates first. Daniels claimed Marcus was aggressive and wouldn't cooperate, but the video showed Marcus calm and cooperative the entire time. His hands were visible. He did everything he was told. The chief made his decision. Daniels was suspended immediately. He'd still get paid while they investigated. A formal internal affairs investigation was opened. The chief promised full transparency. The body cam footage would be preserved as evidence. Marcus was offered a ride home. They offered to have medical check his wrists. Daniels had 3 reactions. First was denial. I was just doing my job, following protocol. Then came anger. This is because of who he is, if it was anyone else. Then desperation. Chief, my dad worked here 30 years. You know my family. Sergeant Hayes escorted him away. Marcus was visibly shaken, but he kept his composure. You could see the marks on his wrists from the tight handcuffs. He said no to the ambulance, but he took some water. Sarah hugged him. Mrs. Patterson brought him into the community center to sit down. If you believe in accountability, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss what happens next. But the consequences were just beginning. Someone had been recording, and by the time Chief Morrison got back to the station, the live stream had been viewed 47,000 times. Let me show you how fast this spread. By 4:30 that afternoon, Sarah's live stream was archived. Someone uploaded it to Twitter. By 5:30, it had 180,000 views. It was trending number 3 locally. The hashtag was OakmontStop. By 7 o'clock, local news picked it up. They aired excerpts from the body cam. By 9 o'clock, national civil rights accounts were sharing it. By midnight, it had 2.3 million views. That's across TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube combined. By Sunday morning, CNN and MSNBC were running the story. The combined views hit 12 million. Here are the numbers. Twitter had 1.8 million views, 42,000 retweets, and 89,000 quote tweets. TikTok had 4.2 million views and 890,000 likes. Instagram had 3.1 million views across different reposts. YouTube had 2.9 million views from multiple uploads. Reddit, it hit the front page of 4 major communities. Look at what people were saying. This man donated $2 million and got treated like a criminal in his own neighborhood. The disrespect is unreal. That comment got 127,000 likes. Body cam don't lie. Officer had zero cause. Marcus was calm the whole time. This is profiling, plain and simple. 94,000 likes. Shout out to Mrs. Patterson for standing up. We need more neighbors like her. 156,000 likes. The way his face changed when he realized who Marcus was, but the damage was already done. 203,000 likes. Comment below if you think this officer should face real consequences. The media coverage was everywhere. 3 local TV stations led with the story. 2 newspapers made it front page. CNN, MSNBC, NPR, The Washington Post, and The New York Times all covered it. Even tech media like TechCrunch wrote about it because Marcus was a CEO. Neuralsync's board released a statement supporting Marcus. The police department scheduled a press conference. City council members called for accountability. Daniels tried damage control. His father, a retired sergeant, gave an interview defending his son. The police union released a statement about rush to judgment. Both backfired. More of Daniels' complaint history started leaking online. 3 days later, Officer Daniels hired a lawyer. He was going to need one. On June 22, 2024, Marcus filed a federal civil rights lawsuit. The legal term is 42 U.S.C. Section 1303, but basically, it's a lawsuit for civil rights violations. He named 3 defendants: Officer Daniels, the City Police Department, and Chief Morrison in his role as supervisor. The claims were unlawful detention, false arrest, racial profiling, excessive force from the tight handcuffs, and violation of Fourth Amendment rights. His attorney was Jennifer Walsh. She's a well-known civil rights lawyer. During discovery, Internal Affairs found Daniels' 11 previous complaints. They analyzed his pattern. 89% of his stops involved people of color. Department emails showed supervisors were warned twice about his behavior. Text messages between Daniels and other officers showed troubling language. The evidence was huge. Over 200 pages of complaints, 6 body cam videos, 47 witness statements. Now here's what the settlement looked like. In February 2025, the city settled for $850,000. Marcus's legal fees were $125,000. The city covered those separately. Total cost to the city, $975,000. But money wasn't the only consequence. Officer Daniels was fired in August 2024. He was banned from law enforcement in the entire state. They decertified him. There's also a restraining order. He has to stay 500 feet away from Marcus. Daniels' uncle was the deputy chief. Remember, he took early retirement because of the scandal. 2 supervisors who dismissed complaints got reassigned. The department's federal oversight was extended 2 more years. Marcus's company paused their contract until the department made real reforms. Here's what's interesting. No criminal charges were filed. The prosecutor declined to press charges. The civil settlement included no admission of wrongdoing. That's standard in these cases, but there was a consent decree. It requires the department to make reforms. Daniels released a statement through his lawyer in August. He claimed he followed training and meant no harm. He said he was sorry for how things got worse. He blamed the media frenzy for his firing. He never directly apologized to Marcus. People thought the statement was tone-deaf. Marcus gave a press conference after the settlement. This was never about money. This was about making people answer for what they did and making sure things change. Then he announced something, the $850,000. He's using it to fund a community legal defense fund. So the next person this happens to has resources to fight back. But the story didn't end with money, because Marcus Chen wasn't just fighting for himself. The press conference happened on February 18, 2025. It was on the steps of the federal courthouse. Over 40 reporters showed up. Marcus talked about the personal impact. "I haven't driven through Oakmont without fear since that day." He described watching the video of his own arrest, feeling helpless all over again. He talked about therapy, about being on edge whenever he sees police. "I had every advantage, money, lawyers, a public platform. I still felt powerless in those handcuffs." Then he talked about his work. "I advise police departments on technology. I've seen the data on bias stops. I thought my education, my success, my charity work would protect me. It didn't. If this can happen to me, imagine what happens to people without resources, without cameras, without witnesses. The average worker making $15 an hour can't fight a civil rights case for 8 months." He had a message for workers. "To every person who's been profiled, dismissed, or abused by people in power, you deserve respect. Your humanity isn't based on your job title. You shouldn't need a Forbes profile to be treated like a human being." He had a message for those in power too. To law enforcement, the badge is a responsibility, not a shield. To supervisors who ignore complaints, your silence allows abuse. To citizens who look away, your comfort is built on someone else's fear. Marcus wants real changes: mandatory body cameras that officers can't turn off, independent complaint review, not internal affairs investigating themselves, a national database so bad officers can't just move to new departments, real bias training with community input, and an end to qualified immunity. He thanked people: Mrs. Patterson, Sarah Kim, James Rodriguez, the thousands who shared the video, his legal team, his employees who supported him. His closing words were powerful. "I'm not angry at Officer Daniels. I'm angry at the system that taught him I was a threat. I'm angry at the culture that protected him through 11 complaints. I'm angry that it took my privilege to finally get answers. And I'm committed to changing that system so the next Marcus Chen, who might be working 3 jobs without time for lawyers, gets justice too." This case showed something bigger. Black Americans are 3 times more likely to be stopped by police than white Americans. 76% of black professionals report being stopped in rich neighborhoods where they live. Our work, officers with 3 or more complaints of racial bias have an 87% chance of doing it again, yet 71% stay on the force. Only 12% of racial profiling complaints result in any discipline. Marcus had advantages most people don't. He could afford $125,000 in legal fees. He had cameras recording. He had media attention. He had time for an 8-month legal battle. Most people don't have those things. So let me ask you, do we accept a system where your job title matters more than your humanity? Do we accept departments that ignore complaints until the victim has a $1 million lawyer? Do we shrug and say, "That's just how it is," when someone gets handcuffed for loading their own car? Because if we don't demand people answer for their actions, if we don't challenge the thinking that assumes guilt based on skin color, if we don't fix the systems that protect officers through complaint after complaint, then we're just waiting for the next Marcus Chen, the next traffic stop that goes viral, the next person who has to choose between safety and dignity. Comment below if you believe qualified immunity should be reformed. If you think stories like this matter, hit that subscribe button. We're going to keep exposing these patterns. We're going to keep demanding better. We're going to keep fighting for accountability, for transparency, for a system where justice doesn't require a price tag. This isn't just about Officer Daniels or Marcus Chen. It's about all of us and the system we're willing to accept. See you in the next one.